G'day guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about this Discovery Optics 4-16 by 44. So last year, Discovery Optics sent me a scope and I did a lot of testing on that. I did a review and I found it to be quite a nice scope. This year, they've sent me another one of their lineup. This is their new 4-16. This one's more aimed at the hunters. The other one I've got is more like a PRS long range style scope. This one's more aimed at hunters. So I've done an unboxing video and I'll go through the specs in that video. So if you want to see that, hit the link up there. But I've just come back from shooting this at the range, so I thought I'd give you a bit of a review on it. Things that I liked about it, it has a very good eye box. Now, because I'm shooting on this Hauer carbon stock, height is not the best for shooting this style of stock. However, because it has a very forgiving eye box, no matter really where my head is, I'm still able to see the reticle quite clearly. I've got other scopes in the same sort of category as this that I found didn't actually have an eye box like that. So the Vortex Diamondback that I had for ages had a pretty shit one. It was really hard to get a good eye relief on that. My Falcon Endura is a hell of a lot worse than this. In fact, the Falcon Endura is probably the worst eye box of any of the scopes that I own. The clarity through the glass is actually quite amazing because it's a relatively cheap-ish scope. I don't know exactly how much these retail for at the time of filming, but it's somewhere probably between the $600 to $800 mark. I think it falls within that, depending on exchange rate, etc. So for that price point, the glass clarity is phenomenal. It's illuminated. The illumination is really, really good. I really do like it. And the graticle has a center dot for aiming, but it also has just the way that the graticle's set out. I found it today when I was shooting at square paper target. I found it to be very easy to maintain a point of aim. One thing I really did like about it is the turrets. So this doesn't have a zero stop on it, but what it does is they're locking turrets. So all you need to do to adjust is pull it up. You can make your adjustments and then you can lock it back down. Now, if you wanted to return to zero, pop it up and then just wind it back to where you need to go. So that's awesome, particularly for a hunter, because you do want to be able to lock those. Not so much in the PRS sort of style where you just want to dial and shoot, because you're going to be dialing in between each stage anyway. So that's a really good feature. And then if you want to, so let's say you just zeroed the rifle, all you need to do is get a coin in the slot in the top, take that little lock nut off, and you can move the turret back to zero and then lock it all back down again, and then, you know, it functions. It feels like it has a bit of an O-ring in there. I probably should have looked when I took it off, but I didn't. But you can actually hear the air getting expelled when you lock that back down. It has a side adjusting for the focus. It has a very nice diopter. The things I didn't like about it, the lens caps are very cheap and shitty, and the rings I didn't particularly like because it comes with really high rings. Now this has already got a pick rail on it, which is quite high. If I put the rings on that this came with, my scope would be up here, which for me is a bit ridiculous. So I've just got a set of loopholed QR2s on there, and they're working quite well. It's quite low down here. It's just clearing at the back there. But yeah, working quite well for this rifle. Now, this scope is going to stay on this rifle for now. I'm going to use it, because it is 16 power, I'm going to use it to do load development for this gun. And if you want to see a full review on the Hauer Carbon Ultralight, or Superlight, whatever the bloody hell they're calling it, that will be coming out soon. So I just shot some groups. The scope performed really well. The gun performed pretty well. That review will be coming out. So if you're not subscribed, please do, and you'll see that come out in the future. This scope is my go-to whack it on a gun to test the gun, because it's a known good scope. Usually when I test a gun, I try to pair the optic with the firearm for the type of application. So I wouldn't put my Discovery Optics 30 power PRS style scope on an ultralight hunting rifle like this, because it would just be a little bit ridiculous. But I feel like a 16 power is pretty good, particularly for testing the rifle. Most of the time with my hunting rifles, I dial back my magnification, so usually run a 3 to 9 on most of my hunting rifles, but this is a known good scope that I can put on and test the rifles. So what application would I use this scope for? It's quite heavy, so it's 760 grams off the top of my head, not including the rings. So it might be a bit heavy if you want to stomp around with it, take it up mountains, etc. Although having said that, I've held this essentially with one hand for this entirety of the video, so it's not actually that bad, particularly when it's paired with a lightweight rifle. But what I would personally pair this with would be something like a fox gun, a gun where you're either shooting out of a vehicle or you're not really walking that far, because it is quite heavy. But the clarity of it is really good. It is first focal plane. It has a very good reticle. It's illuminated. So for me, this would be a good scope for a culling rifle or a varmint rifle. I think it would work quite well. But overall, I am actually very impressed with this scope. Now, that's not surprising considering I was impressed with the first scope they sent me. For the price point, it's hard to beat. If you would like to get one, there's going to be a link in the description below. That is an affiliate link, full disclosure, so I do get a kickback from that. However, I've said this multiple times on my channel, if I didn't stand by the product, it wouldn't be on my bloody channel. So, yeah, there you go. Discovery Optics 4-16x44, first focal plane. It's a very nice scope. It has a good eye box. It's high definition. It has very good reticle. It's illuminated nicely. The controls are very good. There's just not much more I can say about it. So I hope you got something out of that. I will see you next video, and hooroo.